Um, so today I'm going to go through two of my documents that I do use or have used in class and just kind of compare some of the accessibility options and some of the things I could probably improve upon moving forward. So one of the first things I'm going to walk through is a Google slide that I created for my social studies classes. Um, Obviously, this one's about World War One. I made this last year. We use Google Slides in our district. We just use all Google Suite options. We don't have access to Microsoft, actually. So, obviously, some good and bad things about that after reading through the document. One of the first things they suggest is being able to look through the outline view to help students, be able to read it without the pictures, have descriptions and things like that. Um, on Google Slides, that option is not available as far as I can find. So there isn't a quick way to kind of go through the outline and make sure my titles and my bullets are correctly labeled. So I kind of had to go through each slide and make sure by manually checking to make sure if they were to go through it looks good. It also suggests to use templates kind of already created to kind of create a routine, make it look the same. So that's what I did, one, because I'm not that creative, but two, because I like how they look. It's nice and easy to use. So that kind of helps with it. Another thing that they mentioned was as you go through your slides, as you're building them. So for example, this one has a lot of words. Students, if they don't have a mouse or if they have trouble reading, if they're using the text to speech, they should be able to tab through everything and it should be going in the order that you want it read. So as I go through and press tab, it does happen with each one. I could go through, it's a 20 slide document, but I'm not going to go through all of them, but I do have it that as you tab through, it goes in the order that I would like them to read the information. But as you guys can see, some of mine, I do have pictures included, just even on this front one. I have one with a news article, and as we go on, just different posters that were used in World War One. Almost all of them, I actually don't have a description of what it is. So for example, for this Uncle Sam poster, I just have it. I don't have any description saying that it's a poster of Uncle Sam pointing, stating. So that description's not there for those that might have visual impairments. I do think this is probably one of my worst ones out through the whole slide because the title, as I'm teaching it, it makes sense. But if they're having hearing impairments, any visual impairments, just seeing this title and then this news article, it does not make any sense. So I think one of the things I would do is change the title just to even say, New York Times article talking about the Lusitania. In addition to that, I would definitely take the time, scooch it over, and write a description of what is actually happening in it. I do talk about it in class, but again, having that written confirmation would definitely help. I think that's pretty much all of the photos. This is probably my best one. I do have it labeled that it is the Zimmerman Telegraph, but again, if you don't know what the Zimmerman Telegraph is, that doesn't help. So I could kind of describe it, looking at its state, what it contains, things like that, and so on. I obviously have a lot of slides with a lot of information, so I try to chunk it so I can teach it piece by piece. And within each title, I kind of focus on one thing, so isolationism. I then break it apart into 2 bullet points to chunk it. Trying to help with accommodations. As I'm actually doing this lesson, students have access to this. I also go and I underline certain things that are really important because even just in this first bullet point, there's a lot of information. So I would underline isolationism and what it is so that they remain neutral when it comes to affairs so that students know where we are and what is really important in there in case it's overwhelming and chunk it like that. To help, again, with the visual impairment, they suggest doing contrasting colors. I do have a smart board and it's kind of dim, so I've always kind of focused on making sure the contrasting colors just even for me to see. So in almost every single one of my slides, it's a white background with a dark font. The only one I would probably change is my title slide. That US enters and that date down below is kind of faint to see. So I would maybe change that color so it'll be a little bit easier from afar. Let's see, what else do I have? I think there were some links I do have not many, down below, sorry. When I do link something, I give a description and what it is, so I kind of use it in context. So right here, we're talking about the Harlem Hellfighters. Rather than just putting the link there, I did hyperlink it so they know what they're kind of clicking on. It's about the Harlem Hellfighters. And then from there, if they click here, it'll bring them to the link that I would like them to read about. So I do have that linked so it's easy to go to so they know what they're clicking. I was not so successful at my end because this was kind of just if we have extra time. It's 2 music videos from World War I. I did not give much description. I just had the title of the song, and obviously no one's going to know what that means unless you are me, and just a link. So they actually have to click it and go there to see what it is and what it's all about. And with that, with these YouTube videos, these are my only media in this PowerPoint, as in like video. If I were to click these, the first one, it doesn't have closed captions, but it is a lyric video. So as the song is playing, the lyrics are coming across the screen in big letters. As for my second song, not so much. It's just, you guys can kind of see in the picture. There's no closed captions, not even available. So I would either find probably a different song, or I would find a version of this song with closed captions moving forward. And then finally, one of the last tools, I've always seen it on Google Slides. I never knew what it was until now, so that's pretty exciting, is this accessibility button. I see that I can add speaker notes, so I can add descriptions at the bottom for those that have visual impairments. There is an option to verbalize it. So students and even myself, they can go on and highlight what they want read aloud, or they can just put their cursor at the beginning and it will read until it gets to the end. The misspelling, that's good for me, but also for all my students that might have trouble with typing, spelling, things like that. So it kind of gives that wiggly line underneath. We can put comments, so as they're going, they can even speak into it and they can write notes as Miss Roberts is going through the slides and keep track. So overall, I don't think it was a horrible Google slide, but I do think there are ways that I can improve